Okay, we should be live and we're ready to get started. So today we're going to be talking about red flags that are killing our sales. Because here's the thing, people will tell us exactly how to sell to them during sales conversations, during chats that we have in the DMs, over email. Through the language that they're using, people will tell us exactly how to sell to them. And in most cases, like probably 99 times out of 100, the objections that they're going to give us at the end will start bubbling up even before the objection comes. Like they will give us hints. And I'm just going to hit the live button here on Instagram as well, so some folks can join us from that from that channel. But yeah, let's dive right in and let's talk about the red flags that are happening during conversations, right? And how to diffuse them step by step. So red flag number one is the I'm just looking. Like someone jumps on a call, and this is very common, especially when in the beginning of a sales conversation, someone hops on a call and you ask them, okay, what were you hoping to get out of the meeting? And they say something like, oh, I'm just looking for more information. I'd love to hear more information. I'm here to get more information about what you have to say. Just accepting some people real quickly. Ali, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
How's it
sweet.
going?
Awesome. Let's continue. So pretty straightforward today. We're going to cover red flags that are happening in our sales conversations. So people will tell us exactly how to sell to them. If we're listening to what they're saying and the language that they're using, they're going to give us their objection. They're going to give us red flags ahead of time. So today we're going to cover 4 different red flags that our prospects give us ahead of time, that if we do a good job, we say the right things, we prevent them, we're able not just to prevent objections, but also to get commitment much earlier than needed. So red flag number 1 is the I'm just looking, right? So someone hops on a call, you ask them, what were you hoping to get out of the meeting today? And they say something like, oh, I'm just looking for information. I'm just looking to find out about what you guys do and yeah, see if they can help me. This is a red flag. Why is it a red flag, first of all? Because it's a prospect that does not want to reveal their motivation, right? There might be some sales resistance there. We already see that they're trying to hide something from us. So we need to diffuse, put them at ease, show them that we're not there to hard sell them, but at the same time, we need to uncover the motivation. We need to uncover what I call the overt outcome. Otherwise, the entire call, we will be playing ping pong between him not wanting to open up and me just asking questions but getting nowhere. So here's what I can say to get to the juice. Why the hell is he there in the first place, or are they there? I should say in the first place, so we can move the conversation forward. So I can say that's not a problem, and just so you're aware, I'm not sure if we can help. So what would make sense for me is just get an understanding of what would need to be in place, so you wouldn't have to look anymore, and you had an actual vehicle for success. So this is a preamble. You can use it as a pre-frame. A lot of times I'm just using the 3 variations that I'm giving you below. But if you want to diffuse deeply and put them at ease, you can use the language that I'm giving you here. So you can say, when you say you're out there looking, what is it that you're looking for specifically though? I can also say, okay, and what were you hoping to get out of using X and Y and Z solution? So essentially, I'm taking what they're telling me. I'm just looking to find out more about your solution. I'm probing by asking them a direct question. What were you hoping to get out of using my solution or out of possibly using my solution? I can make it more neutral so they can open up much easier. And something I can follow it up with is, and just so you're aware, there's no right or wrong answer here, just whatever comes to mind. Now, once they reply back, they will typically say, oh, I just want to increase revenue, depending on what you're selling. So what I can say there, just to validate it, just to label it, okay, so you're looking for ways to increase your revenue, to get a process in place so you can increase revenue. Is that the case? Yes, it is. And now you've labeled the reason why they're there, and you can move the conversation forward and you can probe. So the first present reality question that you can ask, it can be, and what are you currently doing to increase revenue? This is why it's super important to catch this red flag, because from that answer, I'm going to use it as my first present reality question. So that way I'm being very direct and to the point. They're right in my funnel. I don't have to mess about. I don't have to ask them a generic, what are you currently doing to grow? Or what are you currently doing to, or what's your current process when it comes to X and Y and Z? I can be very direct and ask them, plug in exactly what they told me. Does this make sense for everyone? I just want to be clear, because a lot of people, like, if we don't get this right, it can mess up the entire call, because we don't know essentially which hole we're digging into, which problem we're really trying to go deeper in. Cool. Red flag number 2, I can do it myself. A lot of times prospects will hop on a call and we'll start asking them questions. They will play along, but there comes a point where you get the feeling that this is something that they can do themselves. And obviously, if this is something that they can do, or they feel that they can do themselves, we're in trouble, because they have no need to buy. Like, there's no reason for someone to spend 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 for something they feel they can do it on their own, because they will never justify that investment. And the thing is, you will never even, if you don't catch this red flag, what you will get at the end is, I'm going to think about it, and you're going to get stonewalled, because it's not a money objection. It's not a fear objection. It's just they don't see the value to buy your product because they feel they can do it themselves. So this is a very dangerous one. Here's how to tackle it. When you get the feeling that this is something that they can do on their own, you ask them, can I ask you a question? You get permission first. And you can let me know if I'm wrong here, but it seems that you're a pretty do-it-yourself type of person. Is that right? Yes, it's always been the case. So now I'm trying to label that A-type personality, right? So I can challenge that. You don't have to do it every time, but it's much smoother if I do it like that. So what I follow it up with is, okay, so let's say you found a proven system that was giving you exactly what you wanted. Is it going to be a challenge for you to follow that proven system and not try to reinvent the wheel? Or would that not even be an issue? What I'm doing here is essentially I'm very lightly challenging him, and I'm using his belief of, I'm gonna do it myself, essentially. I'm asking them if that's going to get in the way of implementing our plan. So essentially, it's a qualifying question that gets them to accept change, right? So it's very strategic. So I'm labeling their personality, I'm labeling what they're doing, their behavior, their belief, the DIY. And I'm asking them, okay, it sounds like you've been used to doing things on your own. May I share a concern with you? Yes, you may. Well, do you feel it will be a challenge for you to follow a proven system and not try to reinvent the wheel? Or we don't have that issue? Okay, good. I didn't want to make any assumptions. Let's say you get pushback there. Another way to have a conversation, you can go back and forth to break that belief is, oh, I feel I can do it on my own. That's great. And it sounds like you have all the tools in your toolkit for success right now. So may I ask, why are we on the call today? Oh, because I thought it was interesting and whatever they tell you. Okay, may I ask, you mentioned that you want to get to this result. What has prevented you from getting that result in your business so far? Oh, and something that they can say here is, oh, I'm sure I could get there. That's why I wanted to see if I wanted to get there faster. Yeah, that's not a problem, but what's preventing you from going back and following your process? Like just double down on what you're currently doing. Well, I could double down on what I'm currently doing. It's just that I wanna go much faster. Well, what has you feeling that with your process, you're gonna move slower though? I wanna challenge that more. And now they're gonna say, well, if I'm buying a proven process, I know that I'll get where I wanna go faster. And that's perfectly acceptable because they have accepted that, okay, they can get there on their own, but they're gonna get with our help so much faster there. If there's still resistance, what I can come back with is, so with your new, let's say we're selling sales coaching, right? With your new skills in your sales process, what do you really want to be earning? And be real with me, like how much do you want to be making? I want to be making 30,000 a month. Okay, and help me understand, what are we making right now at the moment? 5,000. Okay, and is that consistent or does it go up and down? No, I'm making 5,000 every month for 3 months. Okay, so with the process that you have now, and be real with me, like how long do you feel it will take you to start making 30,000 every single month? How long do you feel it will take you? Or it will take me 2 months. Bullshit alert, right? Because what did they just say? For 3 months or for 5 months, they've been making 5,000. And now in 2 months, they're telling us, oh, I'm going to be making 30. So we want to challenge that. I'm going to ask them, I'm getting a little bit confused around the math. If you have been making 5,000 for 3 months, how are you going to make 30,000 with your current process on your own without outside help? And now, because we dug deep into the numbers, it's very hard for them to justify and come back and say, oh, I'm gonna, because it will sound like, oh, I'm gonna make a miracle and I'm gonna start making that money, right? So essentially, I'm exposing, but I'm not being combative about it. As you can see, I'm removing layers. It starts by challenging them around their system, their process. And if they still have resistance, that's where I start peeling off layers and going deeper. And I ask them, what has you on the call today? What do you feel has been preventing you from getting to the result on your own? And what is preventing you from just doubling down your current process? And if there's still resistance, then we're getting deep into the numbers and we're saying, okay, I totally get it. It sounds like you're doing fine. Let's map it out just so I understand. For the past 12 months, you've been making 5,000. When do you feel that you're going to be making 30,000 on your own? In 2 months. Okay, can you walk me through the math there? Because I'm not clear, like what's going to change if you don't get help. So now they're exposed because they clearly don't have a clear path. It's just their ego talking. Is everything clear here? It may seem, I don't know, simple, straightforward, but this is a conversation that we must have and get them to realize their gap in their process. Because if we don't have that conversation, it's here. It's very hard to have that conversation during objection handling, right?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So do you ask those questions when when you have a feeling that, or they say, I can do it by myself, or is it like on the objection handling?
Yeah. No, I will ask them during the process. So this will, number one, if I get the sense that they're being, let's say, too cocky, for lack of a better term, or they too A-type and they're not revealing a lot of problems, and I'm getting the feeling that they can get there on their own. Or number two, when I ask the rationale question. So the first objection prevention question that goes something like, okay, so before we started discussing, have you been out there looking for other ways? My bad, wrong question. So besides what we covered today, X and Y and Z, what's the main reason why you might be looking to, get help possibly, rather than just double down your current process? There, if they tell me, oh, I don't know if I want help, I can do it myself, that's when I will deploy this process.
Okay.
Because we have there, they're showing me that they clearly haven't accepted change. They're not even thinking about change. They're just curious. Like, I want to see your process first, and I want to know. Because that's where I have to be on them with 2 hours, hard sell them, and then book a follow-up call and think about it. Like, if you don't have that conversation here, like, you're either gonna take 3 calls to close that prospect, and it's gonna be pushing and shoving and tons of objection handling, or they will ghost you.
Great.
Cool, awesome. And keep shooting questions if there are more. Red flag number 3, no pain. With a lot of people, we will have trouble uncovering their problems, especially when, let's say, we trigger a little bit of sales resistance. They're an A-type personality. Maybe we went too far with a question. They will shut down. They will start not opening up. So I have to be persistent. Number one way to handle it is I have to have a decent probing strategy in place. So let's look at an ideal flow. So if they're not willing to uncover pain, what I have to start asking them is, okay, whoa. When you're saying X, what do you mean exactly? Or can you give me an example of X? Or when you say you want to increase revenue, what do you mean exactly? And increasing revenue can sometimes mean different things to different people. So can you help me understand what you mean exactly? So that's how we're able to start going below the surface. Now, once I have something in my hand, I can see it, I can feel it. Like, I want to increase revenue because our pipeline has been getting less and less leads every month. For example, I have to ask, how long has this been the case for you? How long has this been going on for? They tell me it's been 5 months. Okay, that's where I have to contextualize more. So you've been having low number of leads for 5 months. Has that had an effect on you, your revenue, your business, your day-to-day? Going deeper. Also, you mentioned you have maybe stress, or maybe a little bit of stress. Has that had an effect on your relationships? In what way, though? Or is that putting any stress in the business? Like, how so? Why is that important for you now, though? This is the sequence of the questions to take a tiny little thing that I can't really find real pain, to increasing the emotional temperature and giving me the ability to find the real pain. Richard.
Yeah, so it's the same thing as like minimizing when they say it's not that bad, my back's not that bad. Same questions.
Exactly.
Like if I minimize, well, it's only like a 3. So does it affect you? How does it affect you in terms of time, money, energy,
Yeah. So
relationships?
that's number one. Yeah. So here's a trick though that you can do, right? If especially when you're giving them a scale, right? Like and we're gonna look at this question. But what's your pain level? Oh, it's a 3, right? It's not that bad. Oh, what makes you say it's a 3? Why not a 2? So I'm not gonna go up the pain scale. I'm not gonna say, well, you look in pain, why not a 7? I'm gonna go the reverse direction.
Oh, okay, I'll try that.
What will that do? Let's talk about it.
Okay, well, you say it's a 2. I think it's a little worse
Why do you say that?
because it happens, more often.
Does that make sense? What is happening here?
You're trying to push them up.
Now they're justifying their pain.
Okay.
Because if I tell someone, he tells me, oh, it's a 3. Well, you look in pain. Why is not a 5? Like, I'm trying to touch you and you squirm. Like, why not a 6? What are they going to do? They're going to tell me, oh, it's not that bad. They're going to keep pushing me away, right?
Yeah.
But if I tell them, well, I wouldn't say it's even a 3 from what you're telling me. Why not a 2 or even a 1? You look like you can walk. And now they will be, well, it's not that bad, yes, but sometimes I have this, sometimes I have that. So now they start defending their pain. And this can happen with anything that we're selling. Let's look into feather, brick, truck. So these are 3 different layers. If we still get stuck during in the process, I want to give you a lot of strategies for you to have. So let's say the probing, we get nowhere with the probing. We're going to look at feather, brick, truck. So 3 stages. Feather, this is stage 1. It sounds like things are going fairly well. I guess if there's one thing that you would change, what would that be? So here I'm allowing them to unpack their own pain. Like, it sounds like things are going fairly well. I'm pushing them in the opposite direction. If there is the one thing that you would change, what would that be? Then, if we get nowhere, we're gonna go, oh, I would change nothing. We're moving on to the brick. Okay, help me understand, like on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being your business is dead in the water, 10 things are are going amazing. Where are you at now? Now let's say they say it's an 8, right? You can ask, oh, how come you're not a 5? And then after we can ask, why are we not a 10 though? And now they will start getting more granular. And again, just we covered with Richard earlier, they will start defending their pain, their situation, but that will give us more to play with. Because we're gonna get their details. When they give us a number, they're putting themselves on a scale, right? So by poking around that hole, we're gonna go deeper. We're gonna start revealing more problems, and then we can start building a gap around if they're at 3, how do we get them to a 10? Then if we still are fussing about, we don't get to the point, and they start even being resistant, it's time for the truck, right? And okay, so it sounds like things are going amazing. I'm struggling to understand, like, why are we on the call today? And this is kind of like the final barrier. This is where, buddy, you give me the pain, otherwise we're done. Of course, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna use the right tonality, right? But this is the mindset here. This is how we do the truck. Hey, Chris, I mean, it's great to hear that things are going so well. Help me out here. I'm struggling to understand, like, why are we on the call today? Typically, people come to us when they want to get more leads, get better with their sales, learn how to handle objections. Sounds like everything is great with you. Like, why are we here? Questions on the no pain red flag? So just to recap, strategy number one is I need to be masterful at probing, because this alone, like following the basics, going back to the foundations, will get us there. But I still want you to be equipped, and that's why I'm giving you like the next level, where we have 3 different versions of the feather, the brick, and the track on how do we navigate the situation properly. I don't hear questions, so let's move into red flag number 4. And this is about vagueness, about action. This is where we have essentially tire kickers or prospects who have been burned and they remain closed off completely, right? So this happens typically when I start asking heaven awareness questions, and I ask, for example, before we start discussing, were you out there looking for ways to solve X and Y and Z? Well, I looked at this program, I look at this solution, I look at that solution. Okay, did you actually get into any programs yet? Did you actually invest into anything so you can fix X and Y and Z? Oh, no, I didn't, they say, for example. That's when I can come in and say, well, it sounds like, you know, you have X and Y and Z problems. So what prevented you from taking action on anything, though? Typically, they're going to say an excuse. I want to see all of my options. I want to do this. I want to do that. So now I want to challenge that. I don't want to say, oh, that's fine. Yeah, you're doing your research. That's perfect. Because what are you going to hear at the end? If they have been on 5 sales calls up to this point, and you're the 6th guy, why would they buy from you if you don't challenge them? You're just like everyone else who let them go, right? So you have to challenge that by asking them, so what changed now? Like, why is now the right time to start taking action on things so you can actually fix X and Y and Z problems? And typically, if they don't justify, you know, here and they say, well, I realized that I need to take action, or it's now or never, and you can probe deeper. If they don't give you that answer and they still give you excuses, here, essentially a belief will surface, like a false belief around, I need to do tons of research, I need to do this, or I tend to procrastinate, or a false belief will bubble up. And now you will have the opportunity to start handling that belief. Of course, you have to handle it then and there, because again, it will turn into an objection. It will go nowhere later on. So just to summarize, when it comes to people who are just looking for information, they've seen 5 people up to that point, 6, 7, or even 3, like they're looking at solutions and they're always at the research mode. You want to have this conversation here. You want to ask them, what prevented you from taking action with those guys? Oh, I didn't like any of their programs. Okay, tell me exactly what you didn't like, just to make sure if we can help. Because sometimes, yeah, they may be looking, for example, if you're selling coaching, they may be looking for one-on-one, and everything they've seen so far is group. But if you're also selling group, now you have that belief to handle, right? But this is why we need to have that conversation, so we can remove all those red flags, because they're going to bubble up at the end. Richard.
What about if you're the 6th person that they did action with? So you're at number 6, the last 5, so they're at failed help.
Mm-hmm.
So they did 5 sales coaching. Well, I'll just say 5, treatments or 5 different
Yeah,
rehabs or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Same thing. Failed help. Well, I tried 5 different people before you, Chris, and nothing worked. So that's it.
Right. What do you get out of it? When someone tells you that, like, what does that mean?
Well, they tried everything. It's called failed help. These people are just still in pain or in failed help. Nothing's working. I
Right.
say how I'm different.
Hold on though, like why? So this is a big one for you as well, right? Because now, from what you're telling me, you feel the you need to justify it to them why you're different,
Yes.
right? So I have to hard sell them on something. First, before I jump into selling them, I have to understand why did everything else fail.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. You did bring
so
it up.
yeah, so let's explore it, right? So, okay, hold on, walk me through. What exactly did you do? I went to Dr. Chris, I went to Dr. John, I went to Dr. this. Okay, what treatments did they do with you?
Mhm.
They did X and Y and Z. Okay. When they prescribed the treatments, did you follow through with all of them? Or, did you drop off after the second time or third time?
Yeah.
Because that's important, right? Because when something fails, it's two different. I don't have a drawing board, but it's two different things, right? It's they didn't put in the work, or the thing didn't work, like the methodology, the doctor.
Right. It could be both.
It could be both, but I need to make sure that the patient is in the clear and they don't have a belief around, or if you don't fix my pain in one visit, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Because you can hard sell that person and still it will be a waste of your time because they're gonna pay you once and then disappear, and then you're gonna get a bad review as well.
Okay.
Are
So
you
how do
with
you
me?
prevent that now?
Sorry?
So how do you prevent, okay, if you don't fix me once, I'm going to quit. So, I do see that too. So
Yeah,
how do you prevent that?
yeah. So help me understand, Richard. From what you've been telling me, you've had this bad posture, you've had this, this back pain for 3 months, and you expect a treatment to fix it in 10 minutes. How does that work?
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I guess it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me, because I haven't found the way where, if I'm cheating on my wife for 3 years, I can tell her sorry once, but she's still gonna divorce me, I think. What do you think?
Yeah. Take some time. It's going to take some time.
Yeah. And typically what I see with my patients, like, it's not until like I'd love them to take at least 3 treatments so they can see some mobility improvement. We loosen this, we loosen that. And that's
Yeah.
where you show your authority by unpacking the mechanism a little bit. The mechanism meaning we're gonna loosen your joints, or your hip is gonna go back into place, your knee is gonna start bugging you. So you show them the plan.
And both of those, you should, like you said, you're uncovering it when you say, you know, if you want to get out of, I know, besides getting out of pain, why not just doubling down on your meds?
Yeah.
Then the next question is, before today, have you looked into any other solutions? So that's where you want to hit these 2 questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's before we started discussing, have you seen any other doctors, or have you went into other
Yeah. Yeah.
chiros, or what have you been doing to get rid of your pain?
Yes. Every question that on that script is
Every,
objectively preventing
yeah, absolutely. Like
every one.
that's
So
why
that's
we
why
put,
every question is very important.
That's why we put them there. Like, it's gonna make your life easier. Have these
Right.
conversations early to be done with them, to get painfuls and fix the objections ahead of time. But what I'd like to continue on is, okay, so they say that, for example, I follow the treatments, doctor. They told me come 10 times. I went 11 times. So that's when I'm asked them, well, when you went to these doctors,
Mhm.
were there other patients getting results? So I have to ask them because, again, I want to uncover if they had positive reviews and that this is the only person who didn't get the results, or again, they're just lying to me and there were other people who were getting healed, but this guy only went once, right? So I can ask them, well, when you went to these doctors, were there other people getting results from their process?
Yeah, they might say, I don't know. You know, they sometimes they don't. I could see if did he have good reviews. You could say that.
Yeah, and that's where if I clearly see that the other docs, they messed up and that person, like this box is ticked in terms of their responsibility, what I will do is I will essentially need to cross over to the other branch. So this is
Okay.
where the other doctors were, let's say, wrong. They didn't know what they were doing. But here's the thing, once they start unveiling the therapies that they did, for example, I don't know,
Exercise, I think, would be the exercise. They didn't give him. They gave him maybe stretching
exactly,
and not
So,
strengthening.
exactly.
That's what I'm
So
seeing a lot.
let's say they tell you, oh, they give me those stretches, da 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 da.
Yeah.
That's where you come in and you say, okay, so it sounds like you did this exercise, you did stretches, you did needles, you did this.
Yeah.
Did they have you do any massages in between? No. Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more. Well, they didn't do any massages.
Yeah.
Well, may I make a suggestion? Sure. With all of my patients, I suggest massages because if you do treatments without massages, it's kind of like, um, you know, your muscles are still, you're trying to fix an area where there's still tension.
Yeah.
But if
There's
you don't,
spasms and stuff. Mhm.
exactly.
Right. I'm listening.
Essentially, with that question, you still have the opportunity to show them why everything else in the past has failed.
Yes.
And now they're buying into you as an authority.
Right. So I was doing that one branch, how I'm different, but I'll do your branch too. Did you follow up? Did you do this? Did you do that?
Yeah.
Was the doctor got good reviews? Do you think other people got? Yeah. Okay. So there's two branches to that. I got it.
Yeah, it's just you have to stick through with the question, like probe. Before we start discussing, have you been out there looking for other ways? Yes, I've been to 5 doctors. Oh, what
Yeah.
happened there? Oh, I went to this guy, he did this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, what kind of treatments did they have you do? Oh, we just put injections and, they let me go. Well, that can be problematic because if we don't alleviate this and this and this, that's why you failed. Essentially, what you're doing there is you're doing 2 things. You're educating them on the problem, right? Which positions you as an authority, but you're showing them why every single other solution has failed. So because you're telling them, well, these doctors, God bless their soul, they weren't using the right process with you. Your real problem is you have tension here and here and here. That's why everything else failed. So now they have a new insight with a new problem that you will come in and solve.
Yes. And every like you said, every question on that script is the more you probe on every question, the less objection you will have when you try to close them.
Yeah, because again, you can tell them, well, you've been through 5 doctors, but I've treated thousands of patients. Why do you think it wouldn't work for you? Like, can I do that? Sure. Will it work? Not necessarily, because it's adversarial. Like we're starting to get combative, right? They don't necessarily have to believe you.
Yes.
But when I'm asking them questions, it turns into a collaboration, and I'm showing them that I'm here to solve your problem, right? Tell me what you did exactly, because I want to see this fixed.
Yes.
Like
And
that's the key.
Yep. You just don't ask the questions and keep going. You gotta listen to them and then probe.
Yeah,
Every question, every freaking question is
yeah,
important.
because
bet.
they have the answers.
The answers are there.
Exactly.
All right, I got it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's open it up. These are the 4 red flags. Primarily, of course, there are little things. Just a quick example is, whenever someone on a call mentions budget, I have to instantly reframe it into investment. Like I have to start, I cannot program them during a call, but I have to start reframing their language. If I start reframing their language, this is where they're buying into my process and a new way of thinking. Because if they start coming in and they start saying, yeah, I have limited budget, I have to reframe it as, yeah, it does take an investment to work with us for sure. Like, I'm not going to use their words, because by using their words, I'm buying into their stories. Right? I have to reframe it. I'm the expert here. They came to me with a problem, so I have to reframe their language. And that's the simplest thing, and that's very common. That's why I'm bringing it up in terms of the budget. I will never say budget on a call. They will say, well, what my budget is this, my budget is this, or what's your budget? No, banned word. Every time that they say budget, yeah, it's quite an investment for sure. Or it's an investment. Or a cost. Like I'm not accepting these types of words. I'm the expert. They're buying into, when I'm receiving money, I'm not getting paid. They invest in me. They invest in my solution. So I have to start getting them to think that way. That's another red flag. I didn't include it because it's just a word, but it's simple and powerful at the same time. Let's open it up for questions. Doesn't have to be red flag specific. Let's open it up. Challenges with sales, objections you're getting. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I have a question. I had a call yesterday that we went through the process and I took him through the, so 12K, the price and everything, and did like a how do you say it? Yeah, anyway, I did, I tried to close him. So after that, he just told me like, I like the solution. I really liked it, but I really need to think about it because it's a big investment. I have different investments to do and so on. So we went through the process about the money. Can we split that the investments? And he said, just let me think about it. So my question is, how should I get him to think to invest in our program instead to invest other things?
Yeah. First of all, like, what are those other things?
Yeah, he had a business, so he need to buy like 1 or 2 trucks for his business because he has like a truck business. So so he needed the money for those things to get started and so on. So
Yeah. So what are you selling? Mindset coaching?
mindset coaching and business coaching.
Yeah. First of all, it's where do you think that objection, because I can give you the answers, but where do you think that objection is coming from? Like, because you said you went to the logistics, right? And the payments when he wasn't looking for payments, right? Like, what was he looking for? What was missing in his mind?
Yeah, he said he wanted a community with business people that, can, he can talk with them and
Yeah.
share experiences and so on.
Yeah, but what's the community is going to solve for you exactly?
You mean the product?
What does the community do for you? For him, what does the community do?
Yeah, he just has the access to the community. He can,
Yeah, but how do you see the community benefiting you though?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, we're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Because this is where the leverage comes in. Like this is what you can do in your objection handling. Yeah, okay, but besides the trucks, like what do you feel? Do you feel this will get you to where you want to go? Yeah, you do it again. You don't do it once. Like if you don't have what you want, you do it again. So besides you wanting to invest possibly in trucks, right? Do you feel what we covered here today will get you to where you want to go? Yes. Why? Because of the community. Oh, well, okay, but how do you see the community helping you though? Well, I want new insights, for example, right? Insights around what though? Insights around scaling my business. Okay, what are you seeing exactly in the business today that makes you feel you're not able to scale though on your own and you need a community? Well, when I'm looking to hire people, sometimes, I hire the wrong person and it's costing me money. Oh, that can be trouble. Like when you hire, how much money are you missing out with every wrong hire? I don't know. Well, if you thought about it, what's the cost of training a new person every time you hire them? Well, their salary for 2 months, probably 3,000. Okay. And how often does it tend to happen? Like how many times have you hired and fired people? 3 times this year. Okay, so that's what? 3 times, 9,000. So are you okay with keep losing 9,000 because of those wrong hires? Or do you feel having that community puts you in a better position so you can do X and Y and Z? So you don't have to keep missing out and you know how to scale. Because when I'm asking the question besides when I'm objection handling or when I'm asking the decision question, do you feel this will get you to where you want to go? I'm not looking for a future. I'm not looking, oh, I like the one-on-one calls. The thing is, what would those one-on-one calls do for you? That's your leverage. And that's what I can use to compare and contrast against his problem. If he tells me, oh, I value the community, okay, well, what happens if you don't have a community? He doesn't know, it's not clear. But now if I ask and go below, what does a community do for you? It gives me a scaling system, it gives me advice. Where do you feel you're not getting advice today? Well, for example, when I want to price a project. Now that's a problem. He doesn't know how to price a project, right? And now I can ask him a nightmare question, a consequence question. What happens if you don't know how to price projects? How are you going to grow the business without that? Because that's from his world. The community is in my world, right? But I want something that's coming out of his world, the problem, so I can create leverage. The community to him is worth, I don't know, $500 a month. But him knowing how to create the perfect proposal for a project, it might be worth 10,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Makes sense. So I just, probe into it and get more leverage from, what he's saying.
Yeah, because that's where you can compare and contrast. Well, the trucks are fine, you can buy more trucks, but what good are the trucks going to do for you if you don't know how to price projects? Like the trucks will stay exactly where they are. Isn't that the case?
Yeah. Thank you.
Again, it's coming from them, but I need to make sure that every single like the process, I have to respect the process to get the answers that I want. Like when I ask them, do you feel this is the answer? Yes. Why? Because I like the community. Okay, you like the community. Why do you feel the community is important for you though? Well, it's important because is what I need to objection handle. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Because now I feel alone, I don't have support. Oh, we didn't discuss during the call, like where do you feel you don't have support in your day-to-day? Well, when I'm hiring people, when the problem will come up, like the desire that he has around the community. He's missing something, right?
Mm. Yeah.
And once I do that work, essentially the question I'm going to ask them after I show him that, this is what you're getting when you are inside the community, I'm asking him, well, do you think it's more risky? Is it more risky to, invest in the community and fix this problem? Or is it more risky to just buy the trucks? The problem still stays the same. You just have 2 trucks sitting there. Problem stays for 2, 4, 6 months. Like, which is more risky? Like, I'm putting that in that virtual balance. And now, because I have created that leverage, it will be much more risky for him to, invest in the trucks or invest into anything else rather than my solution.
Mm. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. So more probing and get the leverage out when they say because this and
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing. That's on what he's missing out on.
Yeah.
The other thing is, okay, so you can buy your trucks. How fast do you ROI with the trucks? Like you're gonna pay, I don't know, whatever, 100,000 for one truck. Like how fast does that thing ROI?
Mm.
Well, in 2 years, whatever, with the shipments, da 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 da. Okay. Well, if I told you that by investing into the program, our clients typically ROI in 2 months, like what do you feel puts you in the best possible position to actually grow?
Mm. Yeah.
So you can play it that way as well. It's not just what they're missing out on. It's, well, let's walk through the numbers. Like, how much do you pay for the truck? Because it doesn't make sense. Like, what does a program that's 10,000 has to do with a truck? The truck is, I don't know, like
Yeah.
it's not 10,000. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
2 trucks too. Like I think it's kind of like a smokescreen objection to. I just think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I feel the process. I don't know. I feel like I need to, role play more and more on that
Yeah,
by
yeah.
myself and
We
just
will do it. We have the Thursdays. It's role play.
yeah,
Thursday is all role play, so we'll do it Thursday. But Monday as well.
sure.
Cool. Anything, Richard?
Yeah, so it's not going to be the same question, but it's almost very similar what I was just saying.
Yeah.
So before today, have you looked in any other solutions?
Mhm.
And did they say, well, we did a little bit of this, we did a little bit of that? And what if they minimize it and they don't say, well, nothing worked? No, that's the one extreme was, nothing worked, nothing's working. That's one extreme. What if they minimize it and say, yeah, I did that a couple years ago, it didn't seem to work, but it's still bothering me. So if they minimize it, should I still probe it and get the 2 branches?
Yeah, but it's very simple. It's okay. So you're in pain for 2 years. It sounds like are you okay with living in pain?
Well, it's just bothering some, it just bothers some. So they're minimizing it.
Yeah, well, why are you looking to make a change then, if it's okay?
Yeah, why is it important for you now, though?
Yeah,
Now, then.
yeah. I don't even have to do that. I'm just saying, why don't you just keep living in pain? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay with living in pain? Christmas around the corner, family around the table. Are you okay?
Consequences, questions.
Are
What
you
if it gets
okay?
worse?
Okay living with pain if you didn't have to?
Then what if it gets worse? Then I can throw a consequences question in
I
there.
won't do that there. I will, yeah, but I don't have to do that there. All I have to say is that, like, are you okay with you being in pain, Christmas around the corner, family sitting and you're all scrunched up in pain? Are you okay? Are you willing to settle for that if you didn't have to?
Yeah.
And then if they start mumbling, I can say, well, what happens if nothing changes? You stay in pain for another 2 years, another 4 years, pain gets worse, it shoots down your knee, and as I see with a lot of patients, you're unable to walk without being in pain.
Yeah, it's just like what you wrote the other day. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah,
I could throw that in there too, right?
yeah. Do you think do you think that your back is gonna get better?
Yeah. Just got to challenge them too, right? You got to challenge them a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm challenging them with questions.
Yeah, not with combative tone. You got to keep the tone up.
Yeah, I can just say, why don't you take more pills for the pain? That's good for the stomach, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you got to challenge them and just keep it up a higher tone. Skeptical tone, curious tone.
Yeah. As long as I'm not combative, like they can't get combative,
Yes.
right? Why don't you stay if I'm like laid back, like why don't you just take more pills? That should be good for the stomach, right? It doesn't do any damage at all. Am I right?
Yeah. Right. The tone level. It's the tone.
Yeah.
All right,
Because
good.
I'm showing them that I'm coming from a place of compassion, right? Because
Yes.
I'm concerned. Like
We're trying to help you.
I'm
Yes.
perfectly fine with you not getting treatment. But what will ever change if you don't change? If you don't get treated?
Yeah. Yeah, that's for the minimizer you're talking about. You know, they're tough sometimes, but you could bounce them up with the questions. You should be able to bounce them up a little bit.
Well, the minimizers, again, what do they expect us to do? They expect us to go in there and try to maximize and stretch them. Well, I want to do the reverse. Well, if it's not that big of a deal, like, why not keep living with pain?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Do you like pain? Chris, you might like it. I don't know. I get some sadists sometimes. Are you a sadist, Chris?
Exactly.
Right? I can be playful. It depends on the patient as well. And that's where it's very disarming and the conversation becomes very real because they see that I'm not bullshitting.
Yes. Okay, good. Thank you.
Cool. Absolutely. Any other questions, gents, before we wrap up? Cool. Well, it's been a pleasure. Next week, I'm gonna try to show up. It's kind of like Christmas. I'll be in the US, so the times might be a little bit funny. But yeah, if I don't see you, enjoy the holidays and everything. If you're celebrating Christmas, all the best. Richard.
Yeah, just about next week. You're saying, so you're going to give us an email or something?
It's gonna be the same time. I'm gonna send you an email if I'm not able to do it. I'm gonna try to do it, but I'll be in the US. I'll be in
What state you going to be in?
Philly, New York.
All right. So yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh. It's going to be 9 a.m.
Okay.
It'll be 9 a.m. I mean, I don't know where everybody else is at. So
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna send an email. If I don't do it for whatever reason, because I'm running around, I'll hit everyone up.
okay.
And yeah, it's been a pleasure. Chat with you guys soon. If I don't chat with you,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. If anyone wants more hands-on help, again, role plays, call reviews, access to me one-on-one, A community, I'll keep the same price until the new year. After the new year, it goes up $250 a month. It goes up. That gets added to the price. So hit me up if you want help. Otherwise, Sunday's here. See you around.